Peace, family. What's the deal? Hope everybody's doing well. I asked the family very recently, what type of sciences would you like me to get into and present to you? And from what I've seen, at least, the family would highly appreciate metaphysics and symbolism. So, being the man I am and the king of the people, I got one for you. Now this one, for me and some of my scientists that have been with the channel for a while, and some of the scientists out there that have done their own independent studies, will understand this video. For those of you who are new to symbolism and metaphysics, or slightly new to it, or just familiar with it, this will be interesting for you guys as well. So with that being said, what we'll be getting into today is the religious fairy tales of the fall of man, the fall of Lucifer, fall of light, whatever you would like to subscribe to, right? Now, religion is trash. I'm gonna just get that out the way now. I don't care what religion you are, your religion is trash. I'm telling you how I feel about religion based on the impact, the negative and damaging impact, and the control tactics used behind religion, dealing with mental hypnosis, spiritual hypnosis, and law. Yes, law. You know, rules, regulations, statutes, all that. Yeah, law. Law and government, or law and religion, excuse me, go hand in hand. So today, we'll be getting into the multifaceted layers of how to break down properly, that's the important part, the fall, okay? And we'll be looking at my specific notes and my illustrations, my reference points, my material. I don't copyright nobody, I don't steal from nobody. I come up with this myself. So family, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this breakdown. You know, for me, it's nothing new, it's very simple. So I'm going to try to be able to accentuate and really explain. Remember, when we speak of the fall, the story of God casting Lucifer out of heaven into hell, which we know as Tartarus, as a seven-headed dragon, this is the story of Zeus, or Jupiter, casting his father Saturn into Tartarus, or hell, where he was to stay in prison. This, in many accounts, is the fall of Adam, Atum, and Atom, the fall of one from their higher self through the liquid, which is air and water, the liquid self, these are the elements as well, right? Lighter self, liquid self, which is air and water, into our mortal self, which is carbon, which is our lower self, which is the root chakra. Mind you, the root anchors you to the soil, okay? And within the soil, you find Tartarus, or hell. So from spirit to physical is the fall. One who has a lead foot is not one to lead. Why is that? The idea is to explain the principle that to be earth or birth, when you are birthed into the physical. So to be earth, birth, right? We must descend from the heavens into the earth. But here on earth, we must elevate our consciousness to reach the Christ consciousness and secrete the anointing oil. Yes, the anointing oil on our foreheads. This all ties in with raising your twin serpents, your kundalini, into your crown chakra, which is basically the highest, lightest part of your form, the temple of light and darkness, which is governed by the gold of the sun and the silver of the moon. The king wears the crown, or the golden sun, in the heavens. The crown, the mind, the head, the heavens, right? And you have a silver tongue. You dig what I'm saying? So let's understand that's the first breakdown. That's a simple breakdown. And within this fall, you go through the phases of elements, the phases of chakras. The chakras are the elements. The elements are the chakras. And we'll get into, understanding the elements and the chakras in a different video. But you go from spirit, right? Light, fire, fall through the air. Air is nothing but water, and into your physical form. So here, just within the fall or the story of God casting Lucifer out of heaven into earth, you have to evolve or devolve from spirit, which is higher self, to the root, which you are anchored to the soil, which is carbon, which is earth, and you become Adam. Understand, the story is atom, and Adam. Now, let's break it down even more. You have my picture up here that I created. So let's break down the fall in a biological, physiological level, right? In the colostrum, the oil, known as the anointed oil of the Christ, is located. Descending into the third ventricle, or what's known as the Holy of Holies. Okay? It is then split into a positive fluid by the third eye and a negative fluid by the pituitary, the pineal and the pituitary. Okay? Milk and honey. Understand what I'm talking about? It is then differentiated in the third ventricle to the sacrum, or the sanctum. This is the tomb that Jesus, quote unquote, Jesus rose out of, because first he had to descend. This is physiology and biology, okay? When the oil, the Christ oil, returns, because Christ returns, it gets crucified by the pineal and the pituitary. The oil then goes into the third ventricle, laying in a tomb for 3 days. Then it creates the blood of Christ, which is turning your water into wine. But just like a thermostat, the cerebral spinal fluid circulates via pressure variations from proper breathing techniques and blood pressure. This Christ fluid, or cerebral spinal fluid, gets crucified at the blood-brain barrier. At the blood-brain barrier and the vagus nerve. This is where the crucifixion happens. It happens at the base of your skull, okay? The Christ is then born in the fornix and then travels down, which is the fall, the spine, which is Jacob's ladder, and rises up again, the ascension, after being crucified at the blood-brain barrier. Christ gets crucified at 33, like 33-degree Masons, 33rd vertebrae, and we call this Golgotha, or the place of the skull. It is then sanctified at the sacrum bone, in the sanctum, which is the womb or tomb of the brain, the third ventricle, the Holy of Holies. This is the story of the fall. This is from crown chakra, crown, gold, king, Leo. When you look at Leo, you look at the sperm cell. It gets deep in these aspects, family. Now, the beauty of this is when you look at the ventricle system, you are looking at the womb of the universe. The ventricle system is the womb of the heavens. When you look at the throat chakra, we went from the crown, let's go to the throat chakra. When you look at the throat, when you look at the vocal projection of the throat, you were looking at the womb once again. Now, we go into the woman, we look at the uterus, the vagina. We are looking at the womb. You have 3 wombs, right? This is the Holy Trinity, right? You think to create, you speak into existence, and you produce, right? The fornix, like I brought up, we're gonna go over some words. The fornix, also known as the chamber, the vaulted chamber, the archway, is where the fire burns bright. Fornix is your furnace, where the flame of light of the mind burns. When we look at the pituitary gland, we gotta break down that word. Pituitary is the putamen, or the Put Amen, or the Ptah Amen. You see what I'm saying, family? You also have the ophthalmos. When we look at the ophthalmos, you're looking at the word op, which means eye, which means ophi, which means serpent. Opthal, which is Ptah. Ptah. Now you have thalamus, which is the inner chamber. So all these words, or the sanctum. Matter of fact, you have the sanctum. That is at the base. You see at the very bottom. The sanctum, which is your sacrum bone, which is the sanctuary. The simple things, family. For instance, being cast out as a seven-headed dragon. We understand that seven represents light. And we also understand that the serpent, the snake, represents wisdom, intelligence, rebirth, as in mythological fairy tales like Jesus, who die and rise again, rebirth. This is why you have the seven-headed serpent, the dragon. Understand what I'm saying? It just correlates in so many ways as far as the light bearer, quote unquote, Lucifer, Satan, blah blah blah, right? The light bearer. Understand, we are made of, well, we produce light or electricity. You understand? And what's the base of electricity? El, or your light god. It just all ties in, and you have to just identify and comprehend it as you hear it. But understand, it's a story, it's a fairy tale. I'm speaking on this specific fairy tale. Those with ears to hear and eyes to see will hear the science, see the science. Understand? The serpent itself, the Naga serpent, it is the Nagas. You see what I'm saying? And when we look at the negative, the nega, Eve, and we understand that Eve is the womb. Once again, the mind gives birth to be earth, to become earth, to become physical. So from mind or spirit, which is air and water, these are the elements. We understand as spirit we are light beings. So we have fire, or light, air, water, into the physical, or to be birthed, to become earth. The pi and eel. Understand, it's all in front of you. You just have to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. I'm going to take it a step further. So everything that I previously just went over, I would say is valuable information, absolutely. But I want to take it a step further into another realm for my scientists, just to get y'all the minds going. You go look into it and watch what you unfold and find, right? So I brought up the ventricle system earlier. The ventricle system of the mind, left, right, and has three parts to it. You have the left hemisphere, right hemisphere, and stem, right? But when you look at the ventricle system, you're looking at the womb. It is the same shape. It produces the same functions almost, but just in its own particular way. You're looking at a uterus at the same time, the womb, right? So in the mind, at the top, we have Aries. Ooh-wee, because the womb represents Aries, the top that gives birth to the rest of the zodiac, if you will, just for understanding's sake. But in the word uterus, you have what? Taurus. Ooh-wee. So understand, at the same time you have the mind that gives birth, think and it shall be. You have the vocal projection, the vocal cords, speak it into existence. And you have the womb that produces, right? So you have Aries, you have Taurus, the left and the right, bringing in the Gemini. I know that's a little more. That's a little more, but it's all right. I'm gonna throw in every once in a while. I'm gonna throw in some little gems for the advanced class to look into. So now we're getting into astrology and the zodiacs. That's why I brought that up, so that pathway could open up for somebody. So now if we're going to apply everything that we just went over, the quick little breakdowns on words, the breakdown on the storylines, the layers of symbolism, the layers of the metaphysics of self that we just went over, and put it into like its own story. Now I'm gonna recite a poem, but it's built on metaphysics and symbology in a simple way. And let's see how many of us really paid attention, looking at the pictures, breaking those pictures down, checking them out, right? And putting everything together. And I want you to, for each word or phrase that you might hear, I want you to put the identifying symbols and symbolism to it, and you'll get your storyline. So check this out. God created itself by reflecting, which is thinking, upon itself. Nu and El, right? Nuel, right? Working together, which is thought, which is light and darkness. The lateral ventricles. Then created the heavens. What are the heavens? The infinite waters, the cerebral spinal fluids, right? Which is the primordial dark waters in the brain encased in darkness, in waters, the cerebral spinal fluid. Then the earth body, electrons from the brain travels down the spine, which is the fall of Adam. The body being carbon, earth. Down the spine, fall of Adam. Lucifer, or light, through the cerebral spinal fluid to the earth body feet, physical. Now, it wasn't necessarily a poem or nothing, but it was a nice little storyline to give you all of your elements, the creation of mind to physical, or spirit to physical. And this is how it's done. You just have to be able to identify and hear it and see it. So when you watch the movies, the scary movies, a lot of the time, it's all symbolism. The redhead, or the one who wears the red, the first character wears red or is the redhead, is the one you gotta watch for. It's all symbolism on different levels. But getting back to the fall, you know, sometimes I go on my rambles because I get into this. I start to get too passionate and my mind travels around, you know. But this is the raw form of how I get down with my passions. But anyway, the fall. When we're speaking about the fall, we gotta understand, we are speaking of creation. From darkness to light. From spirit to physical. That's creation, that's evolution. De-evolution. It's all in the same, man. But when Jesus goes into the cave, right? Quote unquote Jesus, the Son of God, right? The Son, this is the light bearer. They're one and the same. Jesus, the devil, Satan, whatever. They're the same. But the cave is representative of the womb, the dark womb, the melanated womb, the melanated mother, the dark mother. Right? The cave is representative of a womb. The doors are representative of the womb. Coffins, wombs, right? And the Son of God, the light of within the darkness, the semen within the womb, from spirit to physical. But we're speaking of the great mother, the dark mother, the black womb. So this is what I'm saying when I speak on these things, from milk to honey. You know what I'm talking about? There's so many layers that comes with this. But if we go back, you know, into this Christian Bible, it gives it to you. This is what I'm saying, family. Once you get just a basic understanding, when you hear it and see it and read it, you catch it. It's in front of you. So we go back to Genesis. You dig what I'm saying? Listen to what it says, and I want you to, when you hear the words, put the right context there. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. God saw that light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. Now, did you hear the symbolism, the sciences, the metaphysical sciences, just within that right there? So let's go from top to bottom, or from above to below. In the mind, the heavens, you fall through what? The skies. That's air, or the lungs. Now we're speaking on the physical body as well. From the mind, El, or Lucifer, Satan, the light bearer, El, thanks to the pi in Il, descends, right? Through the skies of the lungs, the air of the lungs, through the bowels of the bowls which hold water, and into the egg which becomes earth. So, just in the fall, you have air, water, fire, air, water, earth, or light, right? Light, waters being, you have El, as in electrons, electricity, light, fire. Then you have water, which is Nu, the great mother Nu, or neutrons, right? Then you have carbon, earth, physical, body, atom. Man, fire, or masculine, feminine, mother, father, child. The original Trinity, right? Also sound, frequency, vibration. Now just within the mind, you have atom, electron, neutron, and proton. Just within the mind. The electron rotates around the nucleus, right? I said nucleus. At a rapid pace, in a seemingly unorganized pattern, right? And guess what this creates? The valence shell, egg, carbon. In the same way, our quote-unquote third eye revolves around the nucleus of the mind, around your body and your mind. So we gotta understand, from atom to atom, it's all speaking on creation. It's all creation of balance, though. You know, balance. Let's not get it twisted. It's balance. What we are also looking at is something known as Solomon's Temple. Everything we done spoke about, I should have brought that in earlier, but we are speaking on Solomon's Temple. It's the same. It's telling you the same thing. Those with eyes to see and ears to hear will understand this. You dig what I'm saying? So family, I hope you guys appreciated this little build. You know, this is with something light. But I know there are many people out there who's going to appreciate this. So with that being said, shout out to the scientists.